Well, so I think like going to therapy has helped a lot. Like listening, like she told me that like you go back at least 7 times, and so that made me feel like not so guilty because I was crying a lot. I was thinking like, why didn't I leave sooner? I could have prevented this. I was putting a lot of self-blame like on me as a mom, and I realized like, you know, that's just how it is, and they brainwash you. Like he had complete control over me. My thoughts, my every move, my phone, my keys, like I wasn't in control at that point, even to reach out to family members. It got that bad, you know, so.
Yeah, you hear a lot about women feeling like their ability to leave is like if they leave that something worse is going to happen.
Yeah.
Did you have those thoughts?
Oh yeah, like because I would try breaking up with him, and that's when the fights would get really violent, and that was one that was like stated where he gave me my first head concussion when I was trying to break up with him, and it was really scary, and I ended up being hospitalized that day, and he went to jail for it, and then there was a protective order, but he got out and he showed up to my house, and at that point I really didn't know what to do. Do I call the cops? Do I lose my place? Like I got told if cops were to show up again to my house that I would lose my home where me and my children are, so I was at fear. And then also part of me believed that he was going to change. He told me what I wanted to hear. He's like, I love you. I'm sorry that happened. He tried to tell me that I slipped and fell. And I kind of like was still in that trauma bond. I guess that's kind of what I've learned in therapy. It's like you just have like this bond with them. And so I just kind of believed everything he said. And
yeah, I want to get into that protective order. So when was that in June? I've done some of my research.
Yeah, so the protective order was in June. I went to the hospital and they asked if I wanted to like press charges or whatever. Well, they didn't ask, they were going to if I didn't want to either way. So St. George PD did their job, but I was scared because he would tell me if he ever goes back to jail, that it wouldn't be good for him, and he would just like say horrible things to me. And so they ended up arresting him that same day. And then he was released, but like I said, he still came to my house and showed up. And I was scared too, like, I don't know. Yeah. What am I trying to think? Sorry.
No, but that's all, I mean, that's so all well stated. And what always strikes me is that when there's a protective order and then someone violates it, as if this piece of paper is meant to actually deter someone who has such, you know, violent inclinations. Yeah. Did you feel like a protective order was going to protect you?
No. I feel like I feel like there's no point of a protective order or a restraining order. It's literally just a piece of paper. And I mean, you can't have a cop sitting outside of your house 24/7. I feel like there has to be something more, like for when men or even women go to jail on domestic violence to protect the victims. There has to be something else besides a restraining order or protective order, because it's only good for so many days, and sometimes the victims don't show up to court. Kind of like what he did to me, he made it to where I couldn't show up, and the protective order was dropped because of that. And like I said, it doesn't protect you.
Yeah, and it's like you're in the hospital, you have a head injury from this person.
Which also caused like a lot of brain fog, and I honestly really wasn't even with it. Kind of for a while, like everything was foggy, I kind of didn't really remember everything. And he got out like pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's like there's got to be more that can be done to protect someone when it's very clear that the abuser doesn't respect authority, doesn't respect someone saying, don't come to me, don't come to my house, or come around my kids.
Yep.
Like, how is a piece of paper that's really not enforced gonna help you?
Exactly, that's how I feel. That's something that I've been like looking into. Like, I feel like there has to be some type of law. Like, I feel like they should like hold people in jail longer. And I don't know much about like courts and stuff like that, but I just know that there has to be something else other than a protective order to protect victims, because it's not working. Like I said, like with me and other women, like, you know, getting hurt physically and even possibly dying, getting kidnapped, like, it's serious. And I think we need to be taken seriously, the victims. So,
yeah, I was curious about, your experience with the police when you met with them with the initial, what happened in June, and then subsequently. Did you feel like they believed you?
I do. I feel like for me, I think because they knew he had passed, domestic violence, so they knew of him. He was well known for it. He has abused multiple women, so they did believe me, and they were kind of like telling me like he's an abuser. So like St. George PD was like really like good to me, and like I was trying to protect him because there were times that he was hiding and telling me to lie, and he said like he would hurt me if I said anything to them. And so I was really scared. So I feel like the cops that I dealt with anyway, for me, they did their job. But as far as like the court, not so much.